we started out from the same place. I was opposed to issue 3 last fall. I had a couple additional reasons for opposing it. I thought if we're going to decide the issue of gambling in Ohio, that's one thing, but to put an address, a location in the Constitution was the silliest idea that I had ever heard, and thought that if it ever passed, we'd probably regret it, and here we are, having to deal with it. And the only way that we have any way of doing what we're trying to do with issue 2 is going back and doing another constitutional amendment, which is kind of crazy. I felt that this was ill-conceived the way that it had been put together. But what happened in November is that the voters really spoke, and the voters spoke about the fact that we were desperate for jobs. And that's what this was all about, was jobs. And for me, that had a tremendous message when we got down to talking about what's happening in Columbus. Columbus voted 60-40 against it. And the people in my district, the 24th district, which Delphi is in, had voted 60-40 against it, or even more. And the reality is, part of what would have happened, could happen if the casino stays in the arena district, is tremendous harm to a project that's going on within another project going on in the 24th district, Grandview Yard, which is just outside the area where there would be ingress and egress from that site, which would really be problematic. So I was really excited to be part of the discussion of relocating the casino, and in particular, being out here on the west side during the neighborhood discussions of it. I don't know if any of you got to those discussions, but there was particularly one at the Hilltop Area Commission meeting when they expected about 100 people to come out to the meeting, and they were going to have it at the library, and more than 200 people showed up, and they ended up having it at Jerry Spears' funeral home, and even that was packed, and it was an incredible discussion and an incredible process of democracy at work. They handed the microphone around. Anybody who wanted to talk could talk. Pros and cons, about evenly divided. But what was really exciting was to witness the passion, what John was talking about, the passion about the West Side. Feeling that it's been neglected, feeling that it needed something to lift it up. Part of the folks were concerned about, you know, the crime that's in the area and what would a casino bring, and the other side was saying, hey, we already got the crime, maybe this will help us deal with it. And other people were saying, well, we don't need casinos, you can go any weekend night, you can go to a lot of places here in town and find places to gamble, so that's not an issue. The reality was the passion that this created really drove an interest on the part of the people there that excited me, and the other impact is for a legislator is there are very few opportunities where you can really make a difference for your district relative to job creation, and this is a huge opportunity. So I raised my hand and said, I will do whatever I can. Have me be part of this locally, statewide. Let's see what we can do. And indeed got involved in part of the process that got it to the ballot. We had to get a 2/3 vote in the House and the Senate, which we accomplished on a great bipartisan basis. One of the few things that we're doing on a bipartisan basis. Unfortunately, that's the case, but this is one that we can all agree on. And so we did get it passed, and through the great efforts of lots of our local legislators, including Dan's effort, which was really helpful. And Dan has a lot of constituents who are going to be impacted by this tremendously. So the remaining issue is, here we are. We have to put a constitutional amendment on the ballot, and the whole state has to vote for it. And you know, you'll say, well, why would the people in Cleveland care? Why would the people in Youngstown care? Why would the people? They don't. They don't. It's our job to convince them why this is important in Columbus.
Thank you.
And it's not an easy task. So there is an ongoing effort around the state to get that message out. Clearly, Columbus is excited about it. I think we've got the opportunity to have a big impact here in Columbus. And we're doing everything we can to make sure that we get absentee ballots out to folks, that we get everybody who needs to get out to vote in Franklin County will do that. And then around the state, it's getting the message that, number one, you are not voting up or down on casinos in Ohio with issue 2. All you are doing is changing an address, which is amazing. I mean, that's what issue 3 put us in this place, and that's why we have to ensure that everybody understands that all we're doing is changing an address. And to the folks around the state, the message needs to be, the reason you should be supportive is this is going to get shovels in the ground, jobs are quicker, and more money into the state pot, which will get disseminated around the state. So if you all need any background information, there's some information there on the table that we have flyers, and certainly happy to answer questions along the way. And frankly, my view is there's 2 issues on the ballot, issue 1 and issue 2. They're both jobs issues. The more people can think that they're voting for jobs for issue 1 and issue 2, the better off we'll be. And hopefully, I'd be interested in how people feel about it now. I mean, is there anybody who's got troubles with issue 2? This is a good thing. All right, well, we're starting with a good thing.
I wonder if we have this same